This is Ann Peterson, and this is a 4-part video series on marriage. All references and information are taken from Successful Marriages and Families, Proclamation Principles and Research Perspectives by Hawkins, Dolehite, and Draper. Copyright 2016, Brigham Young University. This is video 3, Sex. The information will be taken from Chapter 5. A 13-year-old daughter and her mother were lying comfortably beside each other as the mother read aloud from a book. At a pause in the story, the daughter asked, "Mom, is sex better than candy?" While most mothers might be taken aback by such a question unrelated to the story, this mother, without hesitation, responded, "Oh, yes, dear. With your husband in an eternal marriage, sex is far better than candy." This wonderful mother conveyed in this simple sentence 3 important attitudes with her answer. First, that a sexual relationship should occur in the proper context of marriage. Second, that in the proper context, sex brings joy. And third, that it's okay for her to talk to her parent about sex. Marital sexuality serves several purposes. One is becoming one. The marital sexual union helps build unity between your spouses. It is so much more than a physical act. It has a spiritual component. It goes way beyond technique and physique. This deeper dimension is experienced when we move past pleasure as a goal and instead seek intimate connection. The second purpose for marital sexuality is connecting with God. When we connect with our spouse in a loving and committed and trusting relationship, it brings us closer to God. The third purpose for marital sexuality is strengthening the emotional and spiritual bonds in marriage. It is a way of expressing our love for one another, a way of bonding us together. The fourth purpose of marital sexuality is to continue the generational chain, to bring children into a family. Procreation. God created sexual passion in both men and female for the bearing of children. Sexual passion is a good thing, a God-given gift to us. He said, "Here, I want you to want each other so that you will procreate and continue to pass on the kingdom of God." Procreation is an important principle in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But how many children should a couple have? President Dallin H. Oaks counseled all they can care for. Of course, to care for children means more than simply giving them life. Children must be loved, nurtured, taught, fed, clothed, and housed, and well started in their capabilities to be good parents themselves. It is between you and your husband and God how many children you have and when you have them. And it is no one else's business. In this sex-saturated culture that we have, where we only focus on the erotic purpose of marital sexuality, and some couples go the other way and only focus on the procreative purpose and forego the divinely appointed purpose of oneness and connection. But by seeking to have a balance of all of these different purposes in your sexual relationship, husbands and wives together experience not just satisfaction, but more commitment and relationship growth and connection with God. Sexual problems are a major cause of divorce in the first 2 years of marriage. Anticipatory anxiety, awkward or unsuccessful sexual experiences, and a cycle of avoiding sexual interaction contribute to these sexual problems. Avoiding marital discussions about their sexual interaction when they're having sexual problems also contributes. But faithfully married people report being well satisfied with their sex lives more so than any other category of sexually active people. Studies find that married men and women are the least likely to lack interest in sex or to consider it lacking in pleasure, and are also least likely to associate sex with feelings of fear, anxiety, or guilt. Researchers found that the spousal relationship, with its intimacy, time involvement, and especially commitment level, exerted a much more positive influence on health than any other relationship. In the textbook, McCarthy listed attitudes that help promote positive marital sexuality. These include beliefs that sexual interaction is a healthy component of marriage. It's not a source of negative feelings or guilt. Married people deserve to feel good about their bodies and to view sexual expression as normal and healthy. A primary component of marital sexuality is giving and receiving pleasure-oriented touching in the context of an intimate, committed, and divinely supported relationship. It requires relaxation and focus on the other person as well as one's own pleasure. Sexuality should be expressed in a way that enhances your intimate marital relationship and bonds you together. Couples should strive to create a we relationship where both of their pleasure is important as opposed to one person individually focused on what they will get out of the experience. Couples should be physically affectionate with each other, separate and apart from sexual interaction. They should hold hands, hug, kiss, and cuddle, and this should all be a part of the marital relationship without it always leading to sex. One of the most important things in a healthy marital sexual relationship is realistic expectations that are mutually acceptable and shared between the partners. This helps to establish a good foundation. Researchers have developed the good enough sex approach. They take into account the fact that husbands and wives are not at the same level of desire or arousal or satisfaction. Sometimes we have unrealistic expectations that interfere with the positive marital sexuality. But with the good sex approach, desire and satisfaction are more important than arousal and orgasm. This expectation helps partners accept one another, and it helps them avoid fear and panic when there's a problem. It prevents sexual problems with aging. The good enough approach promotes sex in marriage as playful and even spiritual, and it encourages the belief that marital sexuality grows and evolves throughout your life. This always great approach that we see portrayed in the media and in culture, it results in disappointment and in experiences that fail to match these expectations. But both partners must understand that sexual interaction is expected in the marriage. That seems obvious, but it should be said. Both might experience inhibitions early in the marriage due to poor body image or reluctance to initiate the interaction with their spouse, fear of relaxing or letting go with them, the embarrassment of nudity in front of their partner, or just awkwardness in talking about it, or even looking it up or trying to understand more about it. These are counter to the idea that married partners need to be honest and disclose deep feelings and experiences and create safety for one another, which is what leads to optimal relaxation. The antidote to these inhibitions is being able to talk about them together. And in the moments of sexual interaction, to be able to disclose what's happening rather than just close down emotionally and back out of the sexual interaction. In summary, the good enough sex approach was developed as a result of research finding that happily married couples experience their sexual relationship as good about 60 to 85% of the time, and that even the happiest married couples' experiences do not fit the always great approach. Couples who are flexible enough to adapt their attitudes and expectations to the principles of good enough will likely experience greater overall marital satisfaction. If there were one thing that I could hope that you would gain from watching this video, it would be that having a sexual marital relationship is important for so many reasons, way more reasons than just having children. It's important for you to explore it. It's important for you to be open about it and not embarrassed. It is a good and beautiful thing that God has given to us, and it will help your marital relationship grow.